The Tower of Babel is one of the most intriguing and debated stories of the Bible. What if I told you this ancient tale holds secrets that could change our understanding of human history forever? Join us on a journey to uncover who built this monumental structure and where it was located. Stay tuned until the end for a heartfelt prayer that connects us to this powerful story. Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens. Genesis chapter 11 verse 4. Key biblical texts. Indeed, my dear reader, let us embark upon a journey through one of the most seminal passages of our sacred scriptures. The passage in question is Genesis chapter 11 verses 1 to 9, a narrative so rich and profound that it has not only occupied the minds of theologians and scholars but also touched the hearts of countless believers through the generations. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. Genesis chapter 11 verse 1. Picture, if you will, a time when humanity was united not just in sentiment but in tongue, a primordial age when men and women spoke with one voice, quite literally. It was a unity that bore incredible potential, both for creation and for calamity. In these early days, as people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. Genesis chapter 11 verse 2. The plain of Shinar, often identified with ancient Mesopotamia, becomes the stage for our tale. Here, human ingenuity took a bold turn. Come, let us build ourselves a city, with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth. Genesis chapter 11 verse 4. Ah, the ambition to eclipse the divine, to etch one's name in the annals of time. How quintessentially human. Thus, they embarked on their grand project, using bricks instead of stone and bitumen for mortar, a feat of early engineering indeed. But, as they toiled, divine eyes watched from above. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. Genesis chapter 11 verse 5. In this divine visitation, we find a moment of profound anthropomorphism, where God takes an interest in the affairs of men, underscoring the immanence and immanence of the divine. The Lord said, "If was one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them." Genesis chapter 11 verse 6. Herein lies the celestial apprehension, not of human achievement, per se, but of human ambition unmoored from humility. What a poignant reflection on the nature of power and the perils of hubris. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other. Genesis chapter 11 verse 7. And so, the edict was made, and the heavens moved against the tide of human pride. The unity of language was shattered, and with it, the grand project faltered. Confusion reigned, and their shared vision dissolved into a babel of tongues. So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. Genesis chapter 11 verse 8. In a twist of irony worthy of any great tale, the very fate they sought to avoid by constructing the tower, being scattered across the earth, came to pass. Human plans were upended by divine will, serving as a humbling reminder of the limits of human endeavor. That is why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. Genesis chapter 11 verse 9. Babel, a name synonymous with confusion, stands as a testament to the enduring tension between human ambition and divine sovereignty. Through this passage, we glean insights into the human condition, forever caught between the earthly and the divine. It prompts us to reflect on our own aspirations and the towers we build, whether they be of stone, ambition, or desire. Let us remember that while our endeavors may stretch towards the heavens, they must be grounded in the humility that acknowledges the divine hand guiding the cosmos. The tale of the Tower of Babel is nestled within the venerable folds of the Book of Genesis, a primordial account that lays the foundation of human history as viewed through the lens of divine interplay. Genesis, a book whose very name signifies beginnings, commences with the creation of the world and humankind, and journeys through the incipient steps of human civilization, colored by episodes of faith, failure, and fatherhood. This ancient narrative structure, often referred to as primeval history, spans the first 11 chapters of Genesis. It weaves tales starting from the creation, the fall of man, the great deluge, and finally arrives at the city and the tower, a spectacle of human ambition and divine intervention. In its essence, the story of Babel is one of audacious endeavor and celestial subversion. The narrative unfolds with humanity speaking a single language, unified not only by their speech but also by their grand aspirations. Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, they declare, their voices resonant with the echoes of pride and unity. Herein lies the crux of the narrative's placement within Genesis. It is an epic where human ambition, unfettered and unkindled by humility, seeks to surpass earthly bounds. The collective human spirit, undivided and resolute, yearns to reach the heavens, to carve an identity that rivals the divine. Yet, illustrating a critical theological motif, the tale pivots to God's intervention. The Lord descends to see the city and the tower that the children of man had built. In a divine council, the decision to confound their speech is made, scattering humanity across the earth and halting their grand endeavor. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other, is the divine decree. This act of God, dispersing humankind and spawning a multitude of languages, serves as a poignant commentary on human pride and divine sovereignty. It is a narrative that underscores the futility of human efforts when divorced from divine will, a recurring theme in the theological tapestry of Genesis. By placing this story within the broader narrative arc of primeval history, the book of Genesis presents a profound illustration of the tension between human enterprise and divine ordinance. It urges the reader to reflect on the limitations of human ambition and the overarching power of divine purpose. Through the confusion of tongues at Babel, the text evokes a humbling reminder that unity and ambition, while noble, must align with divine harmony lest they culminate in disarray and dispersion. Thus, the Tower of Babel stands not merely as an ancient tale but as a timeless allegory of pride and humility, human defiance and divine dominion, forever etched into the sacred scripture, inviting reflection and reverence from generations past, present, and yet to come. Ah, the allure of the ancient world! How often do we find ourselves transported to an epic where myths take root in the soil of history, and whispered legends echo in the chambers of scholarly debate. To glean insight into the Tower of Babel, we must embark on a journey to a time far removed from our own. A journey to the early Bronze Age, nestled in the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia. It is here, amid the fertile plains between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, that we encounter the bustling city-states of Sumer, Akkad, and later, Babylon. These were the vibrant heartbeats of human culture and ingenuity, spurred by the tireless ebb and flow of commerce, conflict, and creativity. Imagine, if you will, the towering ziggurats, imposing structures that kissed the heavens. These were not merely architectural feats but symbolic gestures of mankind's aspiration to connect with the divine. The most notable among these was Atamananki, the Grand Ziggurat of Babylon, whose very name meant, House of the Foundation of Heaven and Earth. Could this monumental edifice have inspired the sacred and storied Tower of Babel? We must also consider the cultural and historical tapestry woven by the people of this era. It was a time when Sumerian city-states like Uruk and Ur flourished, their mud-brick temples and palaces narrating tales of gods and kings. The Bronze Age saw the rise of mighty leaders, wise and powerful men like Sargon of Akkad, who unified vast territories and sowed the seeds of enduring legacies. Yet, it is crucial to not lose sight of the broader implications of this enchanting narrative. The Tower of Babel, at its essence, speaks to a universal human condition, a bold, albeit misguided, quest for transcendence. The chronicles of Mesopotamia, with their ambitious constructions and strivings for permanence, serve as a tapestry upon which the story of Babel might be draped. As we peer into the mists of history, it becomes clear that the tale of Babel is not confined to the pages of sacred scripture. It resonates through the annals of human endeavor, echoing the eternal dance between hubris and humility. Before the dispersion of tongues and the scattering of peoples, this era painted a vivid backdrop wherein the seeds of such a story could germinate. So, in this ancient context, we find the milieu that may have birthed the Tower of Babel, a testament to humanity's ceaseless ambition and the divine reminder that we are but part of a grand, unfolding narrative. Are we not, after all, still reaching skyward, seeking unity and understanding, just as our ancestors did in the cities of old? Let us then move forward, mindful of the past, as we continue to unlock the mysteries of this timeless tale. The sands of history hold many secrets, and the story of Babel is but one among many, waiting to be discovered in the chronicles of our shared human heritage. Imagine, if you will, the world in the days following the Great Flood, a world brimming with fresh beginnings, yet teeming with familiar ambitions. It is in this nascent era that we encounter a figure of considerable renown and might, a man who looms large in the annals of biblical history, Nimrod. Nimrod is introduced to us in the 10th chapter of Genesis, where he is described not merely as a man, but as a mighty hunter before the Lord. This phrase, before the Lord, suggests a presence and power recognized by both humanity and the divine. Nimrod's name itself connotes rebellion or valiant strength, depending on the interpretation, and both meanings seem to fit this enigmatic character. As the first on earth to be a mighty man, Nimrod's exploits go beyond the hunt. He is credited with establishing some of the most significant cities of antiquity, Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, all in the land of Shinar. This territory, fertile and strategically vital, would host the unfolding drama of the Tower of Babel. It is Nimrod's association with Babel that captivates the imagination. The city, envisioned as a symbol of human achievement and unity, quickly becomes a stage for an audacious project, the construction of a tower that reaches the heavens. While the Bible does not explicitly state that Nimrod instigated the building of the tower, his connection to Babel and his reputation for formidable ambition make him a central figure in this grand narrative. Beyond Genesis, the figure of Nimrod appears in other parts of the Bible, albeit more obscurely. In the book of Micah, there is a cryptic reference to the land of Nimrod, defining it as a place of notable power and influence. Yet, these mentions pale in comparison to the rich mythos that surrounds him in extra-biblical traditions. Jewish and Islamic traditions embellish Nimrod's story, often painting him as a tyrant and emblem of defiance against God. In these tales, Nimrod's ambition and hubris know no bounds, casting him in the role of a king who not only built cities but also aspired to challenge the very sovereignty of the Almighty. It is said that Nimrod commissioned the construction of the Tower of Babel as a monument to human prowess, a direct affront to divine authority. In Christian thought, particularly through the lens of early church fathers and medieval scholars, Nimrod's legacy is viewed as a cautionary tale. Theologians like Augustine saw him as a prototype of earthly ambition and pride, a figure whose narrative stands in stark contrast to the humility and obedience advocated by biblical teachings. The construction of Babel, under Nimrod's aegis, exemplifies humanity's recurrent folly of attempting to supplant divine will with human endeavor. Thus, Nimrod becomes more than a historical or legendary figure. He transforms into a symbol, a personification of the perennial struggle between human ambition and divine ordinance. His narrative warns of the dangers of pride and the inevitable downfall that follows when humanity seeks to elevate itself above its ordained place. In closing, the story of Nimrod is interwoven with the fabric of humanity's early history, a testament to our capacity for great achievements and our tendency toward great hubris. As we reflect on his tale, we are reminded of the delicate balance between striving for greatness and submitting to the divine order, a lesson as relevant today as it was in the shadow of the Tower of Babel. My dear reader, the tale of the Tower of Babel encompasses profound theological themes that resonate through the ages. As we delve into the essence of this narrative, we uncover a rich tapestry woven with threads of human ambition, unity, and the divine reaction to human pride. Human ambition is a double-edged sword, is it not? It drives us to reach for the stars, to conquer new frontiers, and to create wonders that inspire awe. In the story of Babel, we see humanity, unified by a single language, striving to build a tower that reaches the heavens. This grand project was not merely an architectural feat, it was a manifestation of human aspiration to transcend mortal limits and to make a name for themselves. Come, let us build ourselves a city, with a tower that reaches to the heavens, they said, revealing a desire to assert their independence and glory. Unity, in this context, is portrayed as a vehicle of collective strength and shared purpose. There is something inherently noble in people coming together, speaking one language, and working towards a common goal. Yet, unity without humility can lead to an inflated sense of self-sufficiency. The builders of Babel sought to inaugurate a new era of human power, one that excluded the need for divine guidance. Their unity became a symbol of defiance rather than harmony, prompting us to reflect on the nature of our own collaborative efforts. Are we building bridges or walls? Are our collective ambitions fostering community or sowing seeds of discord? The divine reaction to human pride in the Babel narrative is both a judgment and a mercy. God, perceiving the potential peril in unrestrained human ambition, decides to intervene. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building, the scripture tells us, indicating a divine concern for the path humanity was treading. The dispersal of languages was not merely a punitive measure, it was a redirection, a means to scatter human efforts and, ultimately, to prevent a cataclysmic hubris. This divine intervention underscores a broader theological concern, the balance between human freedom and divine sovereignty. The story of Babel teaches us that while God has endowed us with the ability to dream and to create, there are boundaries to our autonomy. Our undertakings must align with divine will, acknowledging our dependence on a higher power. When human pride oversteps these boundaries, it invites correction. Yet, even in correction, there is grace. The scattering at Babel paved the way for a diversity of cultures and languages, enriching the human experience and leading to a mosaic of civilizations, each reflecting the Imago Dei in its own unique way. Hence, the Tower of Babel narrative invites us to introspect on our motivations and to seek a balance between ambition and humility, unity and diversity. It reminds us that our greatest achievements should be rooted in reverence and trust in God's overarching wisdom. Through this ancient tale, we are called to build not towers of defiance, but communities of faith, not monuments to our glory, but living testaments to God's enduring grace. Dear reader, as you ponder the lessons of Babel, may you find in its story a mirror to your own journey? Let it prompt you to align your ambitions with divine purpose, to forge unity that celebrates rather than defies, and to humbly seek divine guidance in every endeavor. In doing so, you become part of a grand narrative where human potential and divine wisdom coalesce, creating a legacy that truly touches the heavens. The Tower of Babel stands as a grand tale, a narrative that has captured the imaginations and theological reflections of many over the centuries. Some of the most influential theologians, such as Augustine of Hippo, Thomas Aquinas, and several modern thinkers, offer rich, thought-provoking interpretations that have shaped our contemporary understanding of this ancient story. Augustine, in his monumental work, The City of God, tackles the story of Babel with profound insight. For Augustine, the tower represented the epitome of human pride and the folly inherent in seeking to elevate oneself to the status of God. Augustine saw Babel as a symbol of the city of man, a temporal realm where human ambition leads to disorder and confusion. This interpretation frames Babel as a cautionary tale against pride and underscores the necessity of divine humility. Thomas Aquinas, in his Summa Theologica, also reflects upon Babel, albeit from a slightly different angle. Aquinas emphasizes the unity of language before the fall and the subsequent division as a divine intervention to curb human arrogance. By scattering the people and diversifying their tongues, God ensured that no single group could rise to a level of power that challenged his sovereignty. For Aquinas, the Tower of Babel demonstrates God's providential care in maintaining order and preventing the potential tyranny of a single, unrestrained human force. Modern theologians, too, have engaged deeply with the story of Babel, bringing fresh perspectives to bear. Karl Barth, for instance, viewed Babel in the context of human aspiration and the limits of human achievement without divine guidance. Barth emphasized that the true elevation of humanity comes not through self-constructed monuments but through submission to God's will and acknowledgement of human limitations. Walter Brueggemann, a contemporary biblical scholar, reads Babel as a critique of urbanization and imperial overreach. For Brueggemann, the construction of the tower is an attempt to create a centralized power that accumulates wealth and exploits the labor of many for the glory of few. He sees the divine scattering as a redemptive act that disrupts oppressive power structures and fosters a more equitable distribution of people and resources. These interpretations, spanning from Augustine and Aquinas to Barth and Brueggemann, all contribute to a multifaceted understanding of the Tower of Babel. Each perspective, while unique, shares common threads: the dangers of pride, the importance of humility, and the belief in divine intervention to guide and correct the course of human history. Consequently, the Tower of Babel remains a vibrant topic of theological exploration, continuing to inspire reflection and discourse in our contemporary context. In the annals of biblical history, few stories capture the imagination quite like the Tower of Babel. Traditional views hold steadfastly to the notion that this narrative is not merely allegorical, but a literal historical event inscribed in ancient times. To comprehend why this stance is so vehemently maintained, we must delve into both biblical texts and theological discourse, each layer accentuating the tale's veracity. The sacred scriptures, particularly the book of Genesis, provide the foundation for the traditionalist perspective. Genesis chapter 11 verses 1 to 9 recounts the saga with striking precision, describing a unified human race that endeavors to construct a towering edifice reaching the heavens. This endeavor, as we know, culminates in divine intervention, God's dispersion of humanity and the confounding of their single language into a Babel of tongues. For many believers, the specificity of this account warrants a literal interpretation, contending that such detailed narration must root itself in actualized history. For traditionalists, the historical authenticity of the Tower of Babel is further buttressed by theological reasoning. They argue that the story serves as a pivotal demonstration of divine sovereignty and human frailty. This narrative illustrates how mankind's hubris is met not with divine apathy, but with a calculated response from the Creator. Theologians point out that these themes are not merely moralistic abstractions but emerge from actual events orchestrated by an omniscient deity. Augustine of Hippo, a towering figure in Christian theology, emphasized the historical grounding of biblical narratives, including Babel. He posited that the multiplicity of languages is a living testament to this ancient story. The existence of diverse languages, scattered across the globe, aligns conspicuously with the divine dispersal described in Genesis. Augustine and other church fathers saw these enduring linguistic divides as empirical evidence, forging a tangible link between scriptural accounts and the real world. Moreover, proponents of traditional views often invoke archaeological findings as ancillary support. Excavations in Mesopotamia have uncovered structural leviathans reminiscent of biblical descriptions, such as ziggurats, towering staircases to the heavens built in ancient city-states like Babylon. These monumental constructions, though now in ruins, provide fertile ground for the hypothesis that the Tower of Babel was not an isolated anomaly but part of a broader historical context of monumental architecture. Yet, it is not mere physical evidence that fortifies the case for the traditional interpretation. The continuity of human pride and divine correction, as embodied in the Babel narrative, resonates with subsequent biblical events. From the downfall of mighty Babylon to the scattering of Israel, the theme of God asserting control over man's overreach recurs with historical regularity, suggesting a historical pattern rather than pure myth. In that vein, modern theologians maintain that understanding the Tower of Babel as a real historical event draws believers closer to the tangible workings of divine will in human history. They argue that spiritual truths, when grounded in historical reality, evoke a more profound reverence and trust in Scripture's authority. If the Tower of Babel stands as a genuine keystone in the human saga, then its lessons in humility, unity, and divine omnipotence carry not only symbolic weight but also a binding historical reality. Indeed, in the light of tradition, the Tower of Babel becomes more than an age-old fable. It is a testament to our shared origins, our collective transgressions, and the boundless scope of divine wisdom. For those who see in its stones the fingerprints of history, Babel is not just a relic of the past, but a cornerstone of faith, affirming the immutable truths that shape the human soul and the divine cosmos. As we delve into the story of the Tower of Babel, we must not shy away from exploring the challenges to traditional views. The human quest for understanding often leads us to alternative interpretations, almost like travelers approaching a familiar city from new and untried paths. One such path is the symbolic or allegorical reading of the Babel narrative. Here, the tower and the city of Babel are not seen as physical constructs but as embodiments of human ambition and pride. The tale becomes a divine parable, where the construction of the tower represents mankind's desire to reach the heavens by their own means, a metaphor for self-aggrandizement and the subsequent divine scattering as the cosmic reminder of human limitation. Scholarly debates abound on this perspective, weaving through the annals of theological and literary analysis. Some propose that the story reflects the human condition, a reflective mirror that shows our eternal struggle between unity and division. It becomes a timeless lesson that, if left unchecked, our aspirations might lead us to our undoing, not through the wrath of a punitive deity but by the natural consequences bred from hubris. Another alternative interpretation suggests that the story serves as a polemic against the city of Babylon itself. This view posits that the Babel narrative was written as a symbolic critique aimed at the heart of Babylon's cultural and political dominance. The tower, in this reading, becomes a symbol of imperial arrogance, and God's intervention a divine act of reasserting cosmic order amidst human chaos. Within academic circles, the historicity of the Tower of Babel story is a matter of lively debate. Archaeologists and historians search for tangible evidence, looking for traces of grand structures that might match the biblical description. Yet, the scarcity of direct archaeological correlation leaves room for conjecture, often fueling the fires of non-literal interpretations. While the quest for historical validation continues, many scholars argue that the power of the Babel narrative lies not in its empirical precision but in its rich, allegorical depth. They contend that its enduring influence is a testament to its profound storytelling, capturing the complexities of human nature and divine interaction in ways that transcend mere bricks and mortar. Ultimately, whether one views the Tower of Babel as a physical edifice lost to time or as an allegorical construct, the essence of its message remains potent. It beckons us to reflect on the nature of our endeavors, urging an awareness of the thin line between ambition and arrogance, and a recognition of the divine harmony that surpasses our earthly endeavors. It's a timeless reminder that humanity's greatest achievements and gravest errors are often intertwined, much like the strands of a well-spun tale. Thereupon, my dear reader, we embark on a journey to understand the Tower of Babel through the lens of various religious beliefs and ancient myths. It's rather fascinating to note that the biblical account of Babel is not an isolated tale but finds its echoes in other ancient stories. Let us first consider the Sumerian ziggurat of Eridu. The Sumerians, a venerable civilization cradle to many profound myths, believed in a grand structure that connected Earth to the heavens. The ziggurat of Eridu, like the Tower of Babel, was a step pyramid, an ancient architectural feat designed to elevate humankind closer to the divine. It represented a tangible axis mundi, a world axis connecting the temporal with the eternal. This attempt to bridge the human and divine realms through monumental architecture reflects a universal yearning present in numerous cultures. Proceeding further, we encounter the Babylonian Atamananki, a name that might be less familiar but signifies house of the foundation of heaven and earth. This ziggurat, dedicated to the god Marduk, stood in Babylon and bore a striking resemblance to the biblical tower. The purpose behind its construction was not unlike that of Babel, a human endeavor to stake a claim in the celestial order. The Atamananki was believed to be a staircase to heaven, symbolizing man's eternal quest to reach the divine. Herein, we observe a captivating pattern. Both structures, the Sumerian ziggurat of Eridu and the Babylonian Atamananki, resonate with the narrative of Babel, portraying mankind's ambition and its implications. But the story does not halt there, as major religions each have their unique insights that enrich our understanding further. In Hinduism, for instance, there's an intriguing parallel in the myth of Mount Meru. This sacred mountain is depicted as the center of all physical, metaphysical, and spiritual universes. It is often described as an axis that unites heaven and earth, bearing semblance to the biblical aspiration in Babel's construction. This sacred peak is a reminder of the human endeavor to connect earnestly with the divine. Similarly, in Buddhist cosmology, Mount Sumeru represents the cosmic center, supporting deities in a manner reflecting humanity's reverential attempts to bridge the mortal and immortal realms. This mountain is envisaged as a pivotal juncture, emphasizing the pursuit of enlightenment, much like Babel's quest for divine proximity. In Islamic tradition, the story of the Tower of Babel is recounted with a focus on the consequences of misguided human pride. The Quran mentions this tale within the context of humanity's transgressions and God's supreme wisdom. Islamic belief, therefore, reinforces the moral lessons derived from Babel's narrative, underscoring humility and divine omnipotence. As we compare these diverse religious perspectives, an eloquent truth emerges. Across time and cultures, humanity has exhibited an intrinsic desire to connect with the divine. The story of the Tower of Babel is thus a mere thread in the grand tapestry of human aspiration and theological reflection. Each myth, belief, and narrative, from the Sumerians to the Babylonians, and from Hinduism to Islam, echoes the profound quest for a higher accord. This convergence of stories, my dear friend, invites us to ponder the unity underlying human spirituality. It calls us to appreciate the myriad ways through which different cultures have sought to express their profound relationship with the divine. Indeed, in examining the Tower of Babel in conjunction with these ancient myths and religious beliefs, we uncover a shared human pursuit for divine connection that transcends the boundaries of time and tradition. Imagine for a moment that we are standing in the sun-scorched plains of Mesopotamia, where the ancient rivers of Tigris and Euphrates cradle the cradle of civilization. Here, in this land of historical confluence and human endeavor, lie the secrets of our past, waiting patiently to be unearthed. Archaeologists, those modern-day adventurers armed not with swords but with trowels and brushes, have long sought to uncover the whispers of antiquity trapped beneath the sands. Among their most tantalizing finds are the remnants of massive structures known as ziggurats, stepped pyramids that seem to touch the skies, much like the legendary Tower of Babel itself. The great city of Babylon, often shimmering in the mists of myth and history, serves as a fitting backdrop for our exploration. Within its walls, the mighty Atamananki, a ziggurat dedicated to the god Marduk, stands out as a marvel of ancient engineering. This structure, whose name translates to "house of the foundation of heaven and earth," resonates deeply with the biblical narrative of a people striving to build a tower that reaches the heavens. Atamananki, measuring about 91 meters in height if restored to its original glory, was not merely a testament to architectural prowess but a symbolic gesture of humanity's audacious ambition. While the Tower of Babel story tells of divine intervention and the scattering of peoples, the ruins of Atamananki offer tangible evidence of a civilization's reach for the divine. As we sift through the sands of time, the city-state of Ur comes into focus. The ziggurat of Ur, one of the best-preserved structures from that epoch, stands as a witness to the grandeur of the Sumerians. Its terraces, though worn by millennia, echo the narrative of communal effort and divine aspiration that the Tower of Babel encapsulates. Archaeologists have also uncovered clay tablets, inscribed in cuneiform, detailing the construction and dedication of these colossal edifices. These ancient writings, often lists of materials and laborers, paint a picture of societies deeply invested in monumental architecture, mirroring the biblical account of unity and divergence. It is within these vestiges, these ruins of intent and ambition, that we find a bridge to the past. The discovery of tools, bricks stamped with the names of kings, and even the skeletal remains of workers tell a story not just of construction but of the human condition, of striving, of purpose, and of divine encounters. Imagine wandering through these ancient cities alongside me. Picture the bustling activity, the sounds of chisels shaping stone, the murmur of workers communicating in a now lost tongue. It is here, amidst the archaeological fragments, that the Tower of Babel's tale converges with history, offering insights that are both humbling and profound. Such discoveries do not merely confirm the grandeur of ancient civilizations, they provoke us to ponder the deeper meanings encoded in our myths and stories. The ziggurats of Mesopotamia, in their silent majesty, invite us to reflect on our collective past, a past where the heavens seemed just within reach, yet always remained a divine mystery. As we leave these ancient sites, carrying with us the dust of history and the weight of contemplation, let us remember that every archaeological find is a testament to humanity's eternal quest. A quest to understand, to build, and perhaps even to transcend our mortal confines. Dear listeners, today we delve into the captivating realm of academic debates surrounding the Tower of Babel. This ancient narrative, richly cloaked in mystery and intrigue, has sparked countless discussions among scholars, each vying to unravel the historical plausibility, precise location, and profound cultural significance of the legendary structure. With an open mind and a yearning for comprehension, we embark on this intellectual journey together. To commence, let us ponder the historical plausibility of the Tower of Babel. The tale, as recounted in Genesis chapter 11 verses 1 to 9, speaks of a time when all humans shared one language and ambitiously attempted to erect a tower that would reach the heavens. For centuries, theologians and historians alike have grappled with the question, could such an event have genuinely transpired? Some scholars assert that this story, replete with divine intervention and linguistic confusion, serves more as mythological allegory than a literal record. They propose that the narrative reflects deep-seated themes of human pride and divine sovereignty, rather than a concrete historical episode. Conversely, there are proponents who argue for the literal historicity of the Tower of Babel, drawing upon archaeological and textual evidence to bolster their claims. These proponents scrutinize ancient Mesopotamian societies, noting the proliferation of ziggurats, tower-like structures that bore religious and cultural significance. The city of Babylon, in particular, with its renowned ziggurat at Tamananki, emerges as a compelling candidate for the tower's location. Amid these ruins, they discern echoes of the biblical account, suggesting that the Genesis narrative might indeed be rooted in a historical reality. Speaking of location, the debate shifts to the geographical pinpointing of the tower itself. While Babylon is a prime contender, owing to its historical prominence and architectural marvels, other theories propose alternative sites within Mesopotamia. Could Eridu or Uruk also contend for the title? As scholars meticulously comb through ancient records, structural remnants, and regional lore, they endeavor to map the ancient topography that cradled this enigmatic edifice. Their concerted efforts reveal a tapestry of human civilization's grandeur and ambition, rivaling even the most vivid biblical description. Furthermore, we must examine the cultural significance of the Tower of Babel, a story that transcends mere historical inquiry. Its impact reverberates across generations, cultures, and disciplines. Linguists, anthropologists, and theologians alike dissect its narrative, uncovering layers of meaning pertinent to our understanding of language, unity, and divine human dynamics. The tale's depiction of linguistic divergence provides fertile ground for exploring the origins and evolution of language, a topic that continues to intrigue scholars in the realms of sociolinguistics and anthropology. Equally, the story's themes of human ambition and divine retribution resonate deeply within theological and philosophical circles. The Tower of Babel stands as a poignant metaphor for mankind's perpetual quest for greatness and the ensuing consequences of hubris. Scholars engage in rigorous exegesis, interpreting the story's moral imperatives and theological ramifications. Thus, the narrative weaves an intricate interplay between human endeavor and divine will, fostering a rich dialogue among academics and believers alike. As we conclude our exploration of these academic debates, let us appreciate the intricate mosaic of perspectives that this ancient story continues to inspire. Whether approached through the lens of historical investigation, geographical analysis, or cultural critique, the Tower of Babel remains a beacon of scholarly intrigue and theological reflection. And so, dear listeners, let us carry forth these insights, ever mindful of the humility and wisdom that this timeless narrative imparts. Let us embark on a journey that traverses the realms of the miraculous, where the divine and the mundane intersect in profound ways. The story of the Tower of Babel is a quintessential tale of such an encounter, showcasing a remarkable act of divine intervention that reshaped the course of human history. Imagine, if you will, a time when humanity spoke a single, unified language. In their unity, they undertook an audacious endeavor, to build a city with a tower that soared into the heavens. This tower, as the book of Genesis recounts, was more than an architectural feat. It was a symbol of human pride and ambition, an attempt to make a name for themselves lest they be scattered over the face of the whole earth. Now, here is where the miraculous unfolds. The Lord, observing their endeavors, decides to confound their speech, resulting in a babel of languages. Suddenly, those who could once communicate with ease found themselves speaking in tongues that their neighbors could not comprehend. The once unified human race was thrown into confusion, and their grand project came to a halt. From a theological perspective, this divine act served as a corrective measure. It was not merely punitive but also purposeful. It underscored a fundamental truth. Human initiatives, when detached from divine will, lead to disarray and division. The confounding of languages was a profound reminder of the limitations of human ambition and the sovereignty of divine order. But can we, with our modern sensibilities, comprehend such an event beyond its narrative beauty? Some have attempted to root this phenomenon in scientific inquiry. Linguists and anthropologists might propose that the diversification of languages was a gradual evolutionary process, driven by migration, isolation, and adaptation. They surmise that as human groups settled in different regions, their languages evolved distinctively, a natural outcome of environmental and social influences. However, to confine the story solely to scientific terms may rob it of its deeper significance. The miracle of Babel is not just about the how, but the why. Why did it occur at this juncture? It was, as theologians contend, a divine act interwoven with moral and spiritual lessons. It reminds us of the perils of unchecked pride and the divine desire for a harmonious, yet humble, humanity. In pondering the miraculous events at Babel, we are invited to reflect upon our own ambitions and the unity of purpose under the divine gaze. It is a call to balance our aspirations with humility, recognizing that our greatest achievements are but fleeting without the guiding hand of the Creator. As we conclude this exploration of the miraculous at Babel, let us hold in our hearts the humility to seek divine wisdom in our endeavors. For in the tapestry of human history and divine intervention, we find the threads of purpose, unity, and profound grace, woven together by the hand of the Almighty. Dear reader, the tale of the Tower of Babel has resonated through the ages not just as a mere story, but as a living parable. It invites us to reflect deeply on the human condition, our aspirations, and the inherent risks of unbridled ambition. To understand fully the impact of this ancient narrative, we must first unpack its lessons and how they permeate into personal faith and daily practice. At its very core, the Tower of Babel stands as a testament to the dangers of human pride. The builders, filled with a desire to reach the heavens, sought unity of purpose that defied divine will. This act of collective hubris did not go unnoticed by God, who saw the potential for greater mischief in this singular ambition. Hence, by confounding their language, he dispersed them across the earth, a gentle yet potent reminder that our ultimate purpose should align with humility and a higher moral order. This teaching finds fertile ground in the hearts of many believers today. Consider the story of James, a young man overtaken by his pursuit of academic excellence. James, though brilliant, found himself isolated, unable to connect with peers who did not share his single-minded focus. The realization struck him in a moment of solitude, akin to the confusion that befell the Babel builders. His ambition had erected invisible walls separating him from others. A poignant reflection on the Babel narrative led him to seek balance and humility, fostering a renewed sense of community and shared purpose. Similarly, Rebecca, a devoted CEO, grappled with a different but equally transformative interpretation. In her relentless climb to corporate success, she overlooked the value of teamwork, often making unilateral decisions. Her encounter with the Babel story during a Bible study session illuminated the importance of unity tempered with humility. The scattering of languages symbolized to her the need for diverse voices in her organization, teaching her that true success is woven from collective wisdom rather than individual achievement. These contemporary testimonies underscore how the Babel story transcends time, providing lessons that are as relevant today as they were millennia ago. It encourages believers to examine their lives, urging a mindful check on ambitions and a sincere embrace of humility. Whether in personal aspirations, professional endeavors, or communal interactions, the narrative extends a divine caution against pride and the fragmentation it can cause. Let us, therefore, draw from this wellspring of wisdom. As we navigate our paths, may we strive to align our intentions with the divine blueprint, cultivating humility and unity in all we do. For in the echoes of Babel, we find not merely a tale of yore, but an ever-present call to live with grace and purpose. When we delve into the annals of human creativity, it becomes abundantly clear that the Tower of Babel stands not merely as a biblical edifice, but as a symbol that has reverberated through the corridors of art and literature across the ages. Its construction, as described in Genesis, seems to ignite a spark in the human imagination, transcending mere stone and mortar to become an emblem of mankind's ceaseless ambition and equally remarkable folly. In the realm of visual arts, the Tower of Babel has been depicted in myriad forms, from grandiose paintings to intricate engravings. Artists like Peter Bruegel the Elder captured its essence masterfully in the 16th century. His works, monumental in scope and imbued with an almost gritty realism, portray a spiraling structure that seemed to claw at the heavens yet was fractured by the weight of its own hubris. This imagery powerfully conveys the biblical warning of divine retribution against the overreach of human pride. Literature, too, has embraced the Tower of Babel as a rich metaphor. The story is woven into the fabric of countless narratives, often embodying the themes of unity, division, and the quest for transcendence. Jorge Luis Borges, in his labyrinthine prose, found in the tower a symbol for the impossible pursuit of absolute knowledge, a place where human language and meaning collapse into an eternal enigma. Similarly, in contemporary storytelling, the Tower of Babel frequently surfaces, serving to reflect our modern struggles with communication, globalization, and the fragmentation of societies. Not limited to classic paintings and erudite literature, the tower has also left its indelible mark on popular culture. Films and television series have depicted it as a monolithic ruin, an ancient relic that holds secrets and prophecies. In these portrayals, the tower often mirrors our own towering achievements and the perilous heights to which our ambitions can sometimes lead. This symbolic representation extends beyond merely denouncing human pride. It embraces the broader narrative of human complexity. The tower is a testament to our capacity for great ingenuity and our equally significant propensity for discord. Its collapse serves as a humbling reminder that our greatest constructions, be they physical or ideological, are vulnerable in the face of divine omnipotence and the beauty, or perhaps futility, of human endeavor. Through these cultural representations, the Tower of Babel ceaselessly speaks to us, inviting reflection on our aspirations and limitations. It remains a powerful allegory, echoing through history with an unyielding resonance that compels each generation to confront the enduring questions it raises about unity, division, and the human condition. Let us now gather our thoughts and recollect the journey we've embarked upon, exploring the enigmatic tale of the Tower of Babel. We've delved into the ancient script of Genesis, unveiling its profound account. A city and tower reaching the heavens, human pride met with divine intervention, and a scattering across the earth. Through the whispers of time, we scrutinized the possible architects of this grandiose endeavor, pondering figures like Nimrod and the societies of Mesopotamia. We've examined the theological reverberations of this story, witnessing human ambition entwined with divine sovereignty. Influential minds from Augustine to modern theologians have lent us their insights, revealing how this narrative has shaped our collective understanding. We ventured into the realms of archaeology, sifting through the remnants of ancient ziggurats and the vibrant life of Babylon, each discovery adding a piece to the intricate puzzle of Babel's true location and essence. And what lasting imprint does this tale leave on the canvas of faith and understanding today? It stands as a timeless beacon, illuminating the lessons of humility, the perils of pride, and the beauty of unity in diversity. It stirs within us a reflection on our own journeys and ambitions, calling us to seek wisdom and divine guidance. As we conclude this exploration, I invite you, dear viewer, to join our community. Subscribe to the channel, like this video if it resonated with you, and share your reflections and queries in the comments below. Your thoughts are the lifeblood of our journey together, and we eagerly welcome your feedback and suggestions for future topics. Until next time, let us carry forward the wisdom gleaned, allowing the echoes of Babel to guide us in our quest for understanding and harmony. Let us bow our heads and lift our hearts in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you with grateful hearts, thanking you for the wisdom and insights drawn from the story of the Tower of Babel. We ask for your guidance to understand the lessons it teaches us about unity, humility, and human ambition. Help us to seek your wisdom in all our endeavors and to strive for harmony and peace amongst one another despite our differences. May your love and grace continue to unite us in our journeys. In your holy name, we pray. Amen. This structured approach aims to create engaging and informative content about the story of the Tower of Babel, providing deep and reflective analysis on various aspects related to the topic.